Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Okay. Welcome to this session. I must thank Ahmed and TATTI for giving me this opportunity to talk to the potential candidates for logistics and supply chain management. Okay, now let us go to the topic straight away. Now the companies are manufacturing, as the earlier speakers addressed, that the cost of production should be reduced drastically. Everywhere the cost they are speaking about. Why? Because you cannot increase the selling price. Selling price increase is ruled out. Why? Because the customers are not willing to pay anything more than that. So we have to reduce the cost. What are the areas we can reduce the cost? So first thing, they touch on inventories. Inventories are to be stored in the storeroom and then to be supplied to the production or factory in time. In those days, it's a classical transaction, or traditionally they were doing like that. But now at present, everything has changed. Now they are going for just-in-time inventory. The storeroom is a non-value adding item. Storing is non-value adding. So completely the stores should be removed. So there should be no storekeeper, there should be no storage cost, no rent, this and that, everything. So the supplier has to supply the material just in time, JIT, just in time inventory. So just in time inventory is being adopted and the storeroom is done away with. And moreover, this everything should be coming in time at cheaper cost. So right quantity, right quality, right time, just in time. So everything, if it comes like that, the cost of production is coming down by 20%, many research studies prove. So like this, the industry is changing towards the no inventory levels, zero inventory levels. So whatever we traditionally study, the LIFO, FIFO, then average stock, then this transportation cost minimization, all those things have gone. Now supplier has to supply the material in the company at the right time. So this is the supply chain management, is the prime aim, but prime objective of supply chain management. So in Malaysia is a small country when compared to India. I will show you the details so that you can understand what they are doing. Now let me show the file for you. I'll share the screen sharing. And here, logistics, chapter 2, share. Can you see, Joshua?
Yes, sir.
Can you see?
Yes, sir, it is viewable,
Okay.
sir.
So logistics, economic performance. See, Malaysia is approximately $1 trillion. So out of that, see, this Malaysian Global Competitive report is telling the infrastructure on the country's logistic competitiveness is as follows. Logistics competitiveness. The quality of overall infrastructure, the score rank is 20 in the world. And then quality of roads, 19 in the world. Quality of railroad infrastructure, 12 in the world. Quality of port infrastructure, 19 in the world. Quality of air transport infrastructure, 19 in the world. So these are all the 4-5 areas where any country will be improving to bring the goods and services or goods in time to the factories, and also to take away the finished goods from the factory. So Malaysia is ranked 25th out of 160 countries. I think just now Professor was telling that India is ranked as 39th or 35th, something he was telling. So here see, 25th out of 160 countries. So they have very good infrastructure in all the 4 areas: roads, railroads, and then port and the air transport. the total freight volume transported by sea, this is 6 year back data, because I was searching for the new data, I could not get it. 98.4% was transported through shipping. The annual growth rate over the last 10 years, 6 years back, for sea freight volume was 5.4%. It's growing like that in the compounded growth. Rail cargo, blah, 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 all these things. Number of ships arrival in Malaysian ports has shown the downward trend, where the value has decreased from 33%. So some declining is there in the Malaysian shipping. And the Malaysia top 5 export destinations were Singapore, these countries. Top 5 import countries: China, Singapore, Japan, USA, Thailand. So neighboring countries. So introduction, logistics, the drivers of growth of the economy, this blah blah they are talking. Logistic crucial contributor to Malaysia's trade and economic growth. Malaysian government has allocated 3 billion to simulate the development of logistic industry. Malaysian economic competitiveness. Malaysia has a population of 31 million approximately, and the 44th most populated country in the world. So this country, when the population is more, the demand is more. When the demand is more, we have to bring in lot of goods to fulfill their needs. So these are all the competitive rankings. The world ranking is like this. The global competitiveness report is giving Malaysia like this. So all these things you can see yourself. According to the Economic Intelligence Unit's report 2014, because I don't get the recent data, Malaysia is among the top 20 friendliest countries in the world to do business. And then according to the Economic Intelligence Unit, it is forecasted that the market opportunities will improve in the future amid sustained economic growth and relatively strong external demand. So these are all the expectations. So here 7.14%, or we have Malaysia Business Environment ranking. Malaysia top 5 LPI ranking countries. So the Malaysia is coming here among these regional countries. Singapore, United Kingdom, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany. But Malaysia is little bit bigger when compared to these countries. But Germany will be bigger than Malaysia. But still, the Malaysian LPI ranking is coming like this. Malaysian economy, they are talking about. This is the forecasted GDP in the current rate. It will be forecasted to touch 600 billion US dollars in 2019. Already it has gone. And then GDP, all these things are not necessary for you. And then when you go down, these are all the importing countries. These are all the exporting countries. Vietnam, all these things are coming, import, export, trade industries. I wanted to show you page number 23. I think this one. This is the sea mode. In the sea mode, sea transportation has always been important feature in Malaysian logistics, as the country has been the major sea trade route. You know Malacca Strait. Malacca Strait is separating the Sumatra Island from the Malay Peninsula, and all the world shipping is done through Malacca Straits only. Malacca Straits is very shorter distance when compared to going around Sumatra. So Malacca Strait will be always kept busy, very busy, and also it will be guarded very carefully, and it is actually the army and all, they're taking care of that lane. Something goes wrong in the lane, then the transportation cost will be very high, and also the time it will take more. So they are very careful about this. So this is the coastline of the Malaysia. So almost 7,200 kilometers. The 20th rank, all these things are coming. So here. And then the Malaysia freight volume transported. See this. By air, the blue color is representing air. Only one 1/4, 1/6 or 1/7 only transported by this one. Rail transport is there. Sea transport is going far ahead. So like this. Here, container port traffic. See, 2008, 16 million containers they were handling. But 2013, see, 16 to 21 million, 6 million containers they have increased. But in another 6 years, they might have touched by 30 million tons of containers. Imagine how much containers will be coming and it will be transported again like this. Land mode is here very simple because the land kilometers are very less. Why? Because Malaysia is a small country. That's why. The roadways also, so many kilometers are there. They have given the data. And then here, lorry operators, licensed drivers, all these things are there. Air mode is there. The air mode, airports, 114 airports for the small country. Comparison in the world, 51 ranking. And airports with paved runways, 39. Paved runways, 8. Like that they are given. So here, so many data they are giving. So what they want to emphasize is this logistic industry is the main industry which is bringing and taking away the finished product, bringing the raw materials and taking away the finished products to the world destinations. Malaysia plays a very crucial role, not only in the shipping, but also in the air connectivity. See, Malaysia performance in liner shipping connectivity index. See this. So increasing steadily. So every day, Malaysia plays a very important role in the logistic industry. This is one information. The other information what the government is doing is given here like this. The Logistic Trade and Facilitation Master Plan performance report for 2016, they are giving like this. So enhancing efficiency, import and export processes, then regulating warehouse, off-dock depots and development. So many things are there. Phase 2, phase 3, like that, they are dividing them into like our 5-year plans. They plan it and they execute it. So here, I want to show you the training facilities which are available here. See here, page, I think, Malaysia's Logistic Performance Index. So 2014-16, see this, customers and border clearance efficiency, formerly 27, but now it has gone to the 40th ranking. Transport facility, 33rd, and competitively priced international shipments, 32. So logistically, so all these industries you can join some job. Actually, the foreign talent is required here very much. So whoever completes the logistics course, they can try here. So see, debottlenecking, performance of action 2016 is given like this. And then MOT champion logistics. So this is the one. Ministry of Training, Ministry of Transport, MOT, they are doing like this. So everything they put it in writing and they implement and they oversee or they audit whether they have achieved it or not, like that they are doing. So infrastructure, freight demand, facilitation, human capital development. I'll show you what the human capital they are doing here. This is Port Klang area. This is the completed projects at Bandar Sultan Sulaiman North Port Gate 2. They are improving. This is what they are showing here. And I will show you the university what they are doing. Approved higher axle loads, Peninsula Malaysia. This is lorry transport they are talking about. Streamlining licensing and air freight processes and procedures. Commercial vehicles license they are given. Dangerous goods permit for air freight service, landing permits for chartered flights. So all these things they are facilitating, and I'll show you the industry where they are training the students. Here, this is what enhancing capabilities of logistics service providers. So local public universities, private universities, community colleges, polytechnics offers various types of courses and programs in logistics from certificate to PhD levels. 2015 data only I am giving. Now imagine now 2020. There were 4,592 registered students, 9,173 enrolled students study, and 2,470 graduates in various logistics courses. In addition, Human Resource Development Fund and the Ministry of Human Resources has provided 745 students financial assistance. Training place in 2005, financial assistance. This is $1 million. Logistics, this is the training placements, 4,787. See, in the next year, it is increased to 5,541. Financial assistance is also given. So the port management, maritime management, aviation management, logistics management, like that they classify. The students are trained here. The master plan will continue and the students are trained. Actually, this is inadequate strength actually. So they take in a lot of foreigners. Say, I am also foreigner, I am an expatriate from India and I am working here. So like this, here a lot of opportunities are here. And here, this is the shipping agent too. These are all the jobs which are available. Shipping liner, arrival, unloading, transportation, hauler, boarding, bonded warehouse, importer, all these things, blah, blah, blah. Providing green initiative report support. So what they are doing, safety of dangerous goods act at ports, they have passed one law. And here, way forward they have given. So like this. So a lot of opportunities are here. You can see the landscape and the shipping lane here. First, Penang port. This is port of Penang. And then Limur port. And then this is Port Klang. This is the nearer to Kuala Lumpur. And then here Kuala Lingi port, and then Malacca port, and then here they have developed in Johor Bahru. This is very near to Singapore. Singapore main problem is land and the traffic container, the traffic jam. So they developed here one port called PTP port, and now it's giving very good competition to Singapore. And in the eastern coast side, there is again another 2 ports are there here. And apart from that, this is called Eastern Malaysia, that's Borneo Island. So Borneo Island, so many shipping ports are there. So a lot of jobs you can get. Moreover, in Malaysia, the major export is oil and petroleum gas. Petroleum, oil, petroleum and oil, and then palm oil, and then the furniture, timber also they are exporting. A lot of timber they are exporting. So here somewhere the data is given. So like this, the opportunities are very, very large in Malaysia, especially for expatriates, foreigners. Why? Because the local talent pool is unable to supply the demand required. Though the ministry is training and giving scholarships, you can see 30 million people are there, only 11,437 people are trained. Here 11,745 people are trained in various degrees. So that is why they are giving a lot of scholarships to train the people. So we can fill up the gap. Suppose if you are in the logistic industry, you can come here and you can work. What is the salary range in this industry? See, the salary ranges are like this. This is the salary range. What is that salary? I think it is salary report. Unfortunately, it is not working. Wait a minute, because I was keeping this for a long time, so it is not working. So I will type the salary range. Salary range. or logistic industry. So logistic industry salary range you can see here. See this 53,391 is in the average salary range per annum, average salary. So if you multiply by 18 ringgits, now one ringgit equal to 18 rupees. So 5 times 18, you can see this 900,000 will be coming per annum. So logistics coordinator is getting 38K. 38K means around 3,200 per month. Software engineer 42K. This is average salary, not the highest salary, but average salary. And then project manager unspecified type, general type 115K. So these are all the salary ranges paid to the people who are working in the logistic industry. If you click here, more subdivisions will be coming. Logistic coordinator, see here. So many items are coming actually. What they have to do. So 3,600 to 3,700 they will be getting. And then another website also I saw that. Another website. Open another website. Logistics manager salary in Malaysia. And your pay report. So this is not going. So 73,000 odd Malaysian salary, 73 times 18 multiply. So like this, huge salary is available here. Logistics coordinator salary in Malaysia. 34,000 and odd is visible. You can browse these things yourself. How much does a person in Malaysia earn? Logistics jobs. What are the logistics jobs are available? Salary ranges. So there are 560 jobs in logistics category. Average salaries can range from 29,000 to 265,000. Salary ranges can differ significantly depending upon the job. So logistic manager average salary here 4,190. So like this it's given. You multiply because the exchange rate is 18. Okay. In the logistic industry, what are the things which are taking place? As the first speaker advised, the blockchain is coming, cryptocurrency is coming now into the picture. Cryptocurrency, that is digital currency like Bitcoin, Ethereum and all coming. So the blockchain is gaining importance. The blockchain, when it gains importance, what is the importance of blockchain? Blockchain, there are two advantages in the blockchain. The blockchain, first advantage, it is transferring cryptocurrency efficiently without any intermediary. If you bring the bank is an intermediary and the banks take some 6% to 7% commission while changing the currencies from home currency to foreign currency to home currency. So that cost can be cut if you transfer the money through cryptocurrency or digital currency through blockchain, number one. Number two, blockchain this distributed system in everybody can find where the container goes or where the stock is held up. Every information is transparent. So everybody's computer, one copy will be there. It is not server technique. In the server, we will be keeping all the records and all the information. If the server fails, if the server is slow, we will not be able to get the information. But now at the present technology, but in the blockchain technology, each computer will be working as a server. Each person who is the member of the blockchain will get a copy of the data or copy of the information which is being transported. So here the blockchain can help you to locate, to find out where the stock is moving and at which stage it is there. So everything is information is available. But in the logistics, what is the biggest problem? The biggest problem is payment. So you will supply the goods, but money should come in time to the supplier. Supplier has to get back the money. Supplier has to be guaranteed with the money. So that is possible in the blockchain. Another thing is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is also coming to the picture now. Suppose if you ship some goods which are not demanded by a supplier, your software must warn you hey, this supplier will never ask this type of goods, why do you send it there? So it will trigger a caution. So you verify again, and if he really demands, you send it. And if he doesn't send it, doesn't demand, don't send it. So that is artificial intelligence. So without IT support, now logistics and the shipping will be impossible to do efficient transportation of goods. For efficiency and also for bringing down the cost, definitely IT support is the backbone. No IT support cannot be done anything. So IT support is very much essential, especially this blockchain, artificial intelligence. So these two things. So again, another thing I wanted to emphasize is this non-value adding activity of storekeeping. Storekeeping is totally removed. Why? Because now just-in-time inventory is coming. And one more thing, vendor managed inventory. Vendor managed inventory means vendor will manage your inventory. And as the first speaker spoke about the kitchen, mom is in the kitchen, mom only knows how much rice is there, how much salt is there. Tomorrow I have to buy salt, tomorrow I have to buy rice, like that she will be thinking. But suppose if the grocery storekeeper, suppose if he manages your inventory, how it would be nice. When in our house, in the kitchen, if the rice exhausts, immediately the vendor computer will trigger. So that fellow will send the rice to your house. Ma'am, rice is exhausted in your house, please take the bag. Like that. So just in time and also at minimum cost, and you pay the services. So like this, everything is now changing very fast with the computer and the ICT support. Without ICT support, nothing is possible, especially this blockchain and the artificial intelligence. The students who have some small knowledge is not so well, you need not be so well versed in these areas. You have some beginning idea or the basic idea, and then you go and join the industry. The industry people will train you. They will give training. They will be telling you how to do, what to do, so that you can pick up from there. First start joining the shipping or join the logistic industry with small salary. Don't worry about the salary. And even if it is 1,000, 2,000 ringgits, it's enough. You first join, get the training for 2 years, be in the industry for 2 years. Then your salary, you can fix the salary. The industry will not fix your salary. Remember
that. Sir, thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful.
So with this small talk, is there anything you want to discuss?
Yes, sir. I would like to ask you a few quick questions, sir.
Please.
Sir, if anybody wants to prepare themselves for an interview, like what might be the general questions which the interviewer might ask, or can you tell me like some suggestions, tips to prepare for attending a logistics interview, sir?
Interview, when you go, see the interview, if you ask me what I expect from you, I don't expect anything without right attitude. Right attitude alone is enough. If you have the right attitude, you will learn everything. You will be knowing, you will have discipline, you will know definitely. And more, another thing, don't demand very high salary while joining. Salary level might be low. Accept it. Entry point is very important. The questions will be coming, they will be asking something about this level only. What is Mumbai just-in-time inventory? What is vendor managed inventory? Do you know what is Mumbai cost reduction, cost control, just-in-time? All these things they will be asking, blah, 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 blah. You have some minimum knowledge, that's all. You need not prepare very big things, and you need not show any artificial intelligence knowledge or blockchain knowledge. But be mindful, it is coming. Without that, you cannot survive in the industry. So learn the basic things and go inside. If even question comes, you just tell them, I know little bit, but I don't have any experience, but I will learn. Definitely I will learn. Like that, if you give them positive attitude, positive comments, definitely they will hire you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, how important is training or education in the field of logistics and supply chain or shipping management important in finding a job, sir?
Mean training?
Yes, sir. Training or education required Because maybe like let us say a person without any knowledge can join, but he will be on a very low scale. But let us assume that a person who is well trained, who is well educated in this particular field, uh, how competitive can he be in the industry, sir?
See, the industry requires various types of people, not only accountants, not only technocrats, not only ICT people, not only these loaders and unloaders. Everybody is needed in different proportion in different companies. The players will take different type of people for different type of work. So we have a lot of chances, not only for engineers, not only for accountants, not only for the loading, unloading people, lorry drivers, everybody is needed. So if you have 2 or 3 skills, multi-skilling people means definitely they will choose. Formerly, driver means only I know driving, I don't know anything like that, that fellow will say. But now, multi-skilling people, you should know driving, and also you should help in loading, unloading, so everything you should do. Accountant should not say, I know only debit and credit. Accountant should know debit, credit, and also management advisor. He should be a management advisor supplying information. That's additional management accountant we call. And also in the strategic decision making, these people, these accountants should give their inputs, very valuable inputs they should give. Accountants means it's not keeping only the financial accounting. Financial accounting nowadays software taking care of that. What is your job then, accountant? Accountant should supply information to the board of directors to make right decisions at the right time. So that strategic management decisions, they will be asking for a lot of information, because nowadays management is information based. It is not just like grandfather. Grandfather will be managing the business by just seeing the people, and he will be doing that. But now information based. So information, everybody should know how to take the information out of the system, and also where to get the information, and how to organize the information so that others can understand. Organizing the information is very important. And moreover, formerly there were only structured data. Structured data means debit, credit, like that it will be there. But now a lot of unstructured data is coming. Unstructured data means everything is mixed, very complex. There is no order in that data. So from that you should mine the data mining. You should get the right data, right information somehow. That is where your knowledge plays a role. So these things, there is no particular training, there is no specific training for this. Intelligence, and then there's this overall attitude, helping attitude to the management. And you should never say, hey, 5:30 I am going home, you take care of like that. Cannot go. Till 11 p.m. also sometimes you have to work. So like this, the attitude is the first thing any person who want to join a job should learn.
Wonderful, sir.
Next.
So thank you for your valuable time and sharing various data as to how the GDP of Malaysia is working, what are the job opportunities in Malaysia, and how it is there in neighboring countries of Malaysia too. So I hope